All right. Well, my goodness, we've missed some member spotlight, so it's nice to get this going again. Good to see you, Bob. This is our Las Vegas Triathlon Club member spotlight. I'm John Mercer, president of Las Vegas Triathlon Club, and got Bob Gamble, co-host
Hello,
of
hello, hello.
Spotlight. And tonight we've got a nice guest, Kelly Pavalko. This is going to be great, Kelly, to hear more about your story. You're such a mainstay with our Tri Club events, and it's really been neat to see you progress over the years. And I'll tell you, you just always have a smile whenever we see you. So you're enjoying the sport, and I love seeing that. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your story tonight.
Oh, thanks.
And I'm
Thanks.
gonna
I enjoy the club. It's a lot of fun. And real quick, I want to say happy Father's Day to all you fathers before we get going.
Well,
Oh, thank
thank
you.
you. Yeah, thank you. That's nice. All right, and I'll turn it over to Bob for the official introduction.
And hello again, folks. This is Bob Gamble, and we have Kelly Pavalko with us, as John has said. And after the last club race, the club sprint race, when Kelly Pavalko came across the finish line, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt we had to have her for our next member spotlight. And there's two reasons for that. The one first reason is that Kelly has only been doing triathlons for 2 years now. She started and joined the club in 2019, has not done that many races, and she won the women's masters division in our most recent race.
Yeah.
That's the first reason we have her on. The second reason is when Kelly crossed the line, she had a smile on
Yep.
wider than the side of the state of Nevada. And it's just like, I wanted to find out what was in her mind and what is keeping her happy and how she can finish, like a race that was pretty tough. And it was getting warm at the end of the race. And
Yep.
you came across the line smiling, and you lit up the entire transition area and finish line area. So first of all, congratulations on your win,
Yep.
and thank you so much for being a member.
Yep.
And you're one of the bedrock members of the club because you are just bring such a positive attitude to it.
Well,
So
thank
thanks,
you.
thanks
That's
so
really
much for being
nice.
here with us. And
Thank you.
so tell us about your race. How did that go?
Oh, my race went really well. Um, what was in my head when I was crossing the finish line was my first race in 2019. I had trained and I ended up in the hospital right before. And so I had a couple, I think it was a month later, I said, I'm going to do it anyway. And I was running and had fallen and ended up with a collapsed lung.
Oh,
And so
I know, and this was a month before her
finishing
race.
that race was epic, but I knew that I had trained hard and I wanted to do better. And so I really love doing all these sports. I love it. It helps me breathe well. It makes me feel good. And back when I was young, I did swimming all the time. I grew up in junior high school doing swimming. So that's where I got the swimming in. And I just did sports. I did track and field and actually lettered in basketball of all things.
oh,
And I'm
And you're so
5'2",
tall,
so
it's no wonder you lettered in basketball. You're what, 7'2"?
yeah, right. Right. And so this time, just crossing the finish line, I had worked with Luigi this time, and I love working with Luigi. He's great. Coach Chip has helped me too with my running. Done a lot of running, so that's how I transitioned into doing tries. So
And just so the rest of the group, I know a little bit about you, so the rest of the club knows. How many marathons and half marathons have you done?
I think I've done like over 50 half marathons, and I have done probably 4 marathons, full marathons.
Yeah, so
oh,
you do have a running background.
Yes, yes. I
And
was chasing Boston these last couple of years before I had that fall, and getting closer. So,
so one follow-up question to your running is it's
mhm,
obvious if you've done 50 half marathons, you've got a strength
yeah,
in running. And when I asked you what your strength was in triathlon, and you mentioned that it was swimming.
I
And
think it is.
yeah,
You
and
know,
for such a runner.
I have to tell you, one of the things that's amazing is for triathlons, you have to slow it down. And I really struggle with that. So it's a challenge for me to slow down because it's the end of the race and I need to. I don't have a choice. You know, as I get stronger, you know, I can fly faster. But for now, that's for me, that's I love running, but it's a challenge to run slower,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
A
Mhm.
lot of people wish they had that problem.
Yeah, well, it's
That you
better
can
for
run
you as you
fast,
get
but
older
it's
to
hard to run
run
slow. Yeah,
slower.
true.
Yeah, less injuries.
Yeah, no, that's a great message. But I gotta jump into here because there's a lot to unpack here that you're unfolding here. First, I want to hear more about this collapsed lung and this injury. What? Wait a second. What? This was before your first race?
Yes, it actually was. It was just freak. I was running down Mount Charleston, and I got off to a bike was coming, and I got off, and I just stepped wrong, and I
Mm.
went down, and I was okay for about an hour or two, and then I ended up at the ER because I couldn't breathe,
Oh,
and that's what it
wow.
was. Yeah.
And so, but
They
now
said
how?
sometimes if you fall, it's a trauma,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it'll do it.
No,
Yeah.
that's smart to go to the ER at that point because a lot of people will say, "Oh no, it's just a bruise or what have you." But you got to check those things out. And I'm glad you did. I mean, that's serious.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how far before your first race did that happen?
I think it was like a month after. I'd have to go
Oh,
back and look, but I was still recouping from it. And so the run portion, I did walk
yeah,
towards the end there. And I was happy to. And I think I was probably came in the last person in that race, but it was a triumph to finish it. And
of
I was
course.
okay afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing to have that
Yeah.
type of injury and then to go do your first triathlon. That
Yeah.
is, that is amazing. So, all right, now let's go back a little bit further. I'm interested in why you signed up for that first triathlon in the first place, having this 50 half marathons. My goodness. And so,
Yeah.
what made you go from a successful running sort of career to taking on the triathlon?
You know, I like to change it up.
Hmm.
And I think the running was I think I was just getting beat up from the running, from a lot of long running.
Mhm.
And now, though, I worked with Ron, and Ron helped me get a schedule together and of course, I work with my coach, Luigi, too, but just to strengthen my legs more, that's something really important that I really never did a lot of. And so that major change helped with running, making it much easier. And you were saying that for running, you know, in your last video there, I caught some of it and I'll go back and watch it. But towards the end, running as a perception,
Yeah.
your tiredness.
Yep.
And I totally agree with that it is. Bob, I had put some, I had talked to you before about this, that I play games when I run to make it fun. That's why I love it so
I
much.
know, I heard that, and I was thinking, you're
Yeah.
tackling some of the biggest problems I have right now is like when I go longer distances, I'm just bored out of my mind, you know?
Yeah.
I've got the attention of a lit
Yeah.
firecracker. I can't do this. So your
Yeah. So
games,
I find an object, you know, it can be something like a dumpster. And then it helps my creativity too for work. I'll change it into 5 different things. Like maybe I'll turn it upside down and paint it as a homeless shelter and add flowers. And so I'm not thinking about, I've got 5 more miles to run. I'm thinking about what can I do next to that object? And so it makes it a lot more
Like,
fun.
that's not a telephone pole, that's the Jolly Green Giant's toothpick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That
Yeah.
is
I have
great,
a friend
man.
I've run with in the past, and we'd go back and forth. And
Oh.
so if you have somebody you're running with too, it's a lot of fun to do.
That's neat, and that is there's actually some good research behind that because you're distracting yourself from the task at hand, and so that can be a real benefit. So that's really neat to hear that story. All right, so
Yeah.
now, what was your first race?
Oh my goodness. It had to be a 5K, I'm sure. Oh, you know what?
First triathlon. First triathlon.
First triathlon was the Lake Mead Tri.
Lake Mead. Oh, excellent. Okay, so a month before that, you're still signed up for that, so you go down and do it. You just got off this collapsed lung. Your doctor's probably saying, "You're doing a what?" And
Yeah,
you're,
I
I'm
didn't
doing a what? Right. And so
I'm
now
a bad example.
so now you're on the start line. You know, what's going through your mind after coming off a crash like that or collapsed lung like that, and then now you're starting a triathlon? What were you thinking?
I was thinking I could do it.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. I love that mindset.
You know, you said you came in last, but I bet you were the first one with a collapsed lung.
Yeah.
So getting over that.
Yeah. My family was there at the finish line, and that was probably the best part of the whole thing. So that was cool.
Hey,
I have excellent support.
John, while we're on the topic of the family, a lot of people don't know that one of your offspring is a stellar triathlete in her own right.
She is
I
my
know,
pride and joy.
I know.
Yeah.
So congratulations. I mean, you have passed on some really killer genes there.
Yeah, she teaches me. She's awesome.
For the club members who don't know, Kelly is Candace McCutcheon's mom.
Yeah.
And Candace McCutcheon is a star triathlete in herself.
Mhm. So.
And I see that grit is very common between the two of you. So oh my goodness, I'm really impressed with this first race and this, and I love the mindset that you had that you know you had that confidence still going into the race, and so clearly, and you've already said it, your finish line was really meaningful at that point.
Yeah, it was. This one was a lot easier, I have to say.
Yeah. So that was 2019.
Yeah, that was 2019.
And that was the Rage Triathlon, wasn't it? In Lake Mead?
No, I think it was the Lake Mead Tri. It was right. I think it was before they shut them down.
Okay, yeah, because
it was the year before.
Yeah.
So I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
It was the last one they held because I have a deferred one right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we hit 2020 and everything got paused, and now you're back at it and did the club race. What some races that you're targeting for 2021?
Well, for 2021, I will do the Lake Mead Tri.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for Pumpkin Man, but I'll do something.
So how is your bike? Is it as strong now as your swim and run?
That's my bike is very challenging, but it has improved. Coach Luigi's worked with me a lot for the bike, and so I'm getting better, and that's exciting.
Because you're going to need that for Pumpkin Man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'll do the Pumpkin Man Tri, but I might. The hill, that's funny you say that. One of the things that I'm working on is the clip-ons. And so this is something new that I learned to the start, I think, of last year, and with the clip-ons. And
are you talking of your clip-in pedals or the clip-on aero bars?
Yeah, no, they're clip-on shoes.
Right.
Pedals.
Okay.
Yeah. I've uh, I'm still
Well, they take some
challenging that.
getting
I'm
used to.
working on hills on that because I can't get my feet out when I'm going uphill.
Mhm.
And so one of the things, I'm still pretty green because the other year I did it with just pedals. I didn't do clip-ons.
Mhm.
And so somebody told me it'll speed up your bike, so try that.
Well,
And
you
yeah,
know, and I think that's great for people to hear is that, you know, when you do that first race, you got to use equipment that you're comfortable with. And it
yes,
doesn't always need to be this, glorified everything. And we work into that. So that's really neat that one you did the race with flat bottom pedals.
That's right.
yeah.
And now you're moving into clip-ons. And okay, so I got to ask, have you fallen yet?
Oh my gosh, have I fallen? Oh yes.
We
I
all
think
have.
I finally stopped at number 5, and I'm thrilled that I stopped doing that. And now I'm working on. I did fine on uh, the hill going up out of the
Yep.
transition from the bike. That was the one I was like in my head a little bit on, and it went fine. And
Good.
so now I'm going to start working on the gun range. I live right by it, so I'll go halfway up, and I'm like, nope, and
Yeah.
I turn back down. So it's just getting comfortable, being able to get those shoes untwisted,
Yeah.
and being confident that I'm strong enough that I don't need to worry about that.
Right.
And you know, you can loosen the setting on that. You don't have to have those clipped in like you're locked on like a pro, cyclist. You can loosen the tension, and you still won't pull your foot out of it with normal pedaling. So
That's good. I did take them back to the guy
Yeah.
at the shop. Yeah, they're broken, and he's like, no, you can loosen them. So I
Oh,
did
good.
do that.
good.
Well, and like what you're doing, you're practicing, and
Yeah.
that's the key. And a lot of people don't put the time in. So it's great to hear that you're doing that and getting more comfortable, because that will help with your bike handling skills overall. And that's confidence. So even though you have a running background and a swim background, you're feeling like your bike is really good, huh?
I'm thinking it's getting better.
It's coming along.
I think I just had to accept it's going to take time to get there,
Mhm.
when you're transferring like that, you want to be fast and good, but it takes time. You start where you are, you accept that, and then you move on and tweak other things that you can, improve on.
Oh, that's great.
Well,
And I'm liking it, so
Well,
it gives me exercise and keeps me moving.
and it's beautiful because you can start triathlon at any time, you can any age, and you can have that improvement, from the start. So that's really neat that we're catching you at the early part of your career here.
And can I ask you when
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
started, and how old were you when you started?
What, the triathlon?
Yes.
I think I was 59, and I'm 61 now. I do have lung issues. I have asthma on top of it.
Mhm.
But you know what? If I keep moving, those issues don't. I've got them under control.
That's good.
And I find so many people give up when they have those major issues that they shouldn't. They got to struggle through getting through that. And if I can help anybody do that, you call me. I'll share
That's
my
one of the-
stories. And
That's great.
That's one of the things I wanted the club to hear.
Yeah.
First of all, is that you started and you had the courage and the fortitude to start when you're 59 years old. That's cool. And then the fact that you're working through your issues.
Yeah.
Now, also, you learned a lot in these last 2 years. So can you share with some of the things that you have learned that you can impart? We have a whole lot of new triathletes in the club right now. I see you're checking your notes. What?
Yeah, I was looking at what I put. I know one of the things, the clip-ons, the first time you do them, Coach Luigi put me in the grass, and I rode the bike in the grass with him, and it was perfect because I think I got 10 feet and boom, so it worked out perfect, and it's great. So that would be one thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I went blank. For swimming, though I did a lot of swimming in high school, I still took a buoy, one of those buoys, the first time I was out there, and it was wavy. It's really different than swimming in a pool. And so those waves, you just, when you're going to catch your breath, you're swallowing water. So take a buoy for safety.
You just don't know what to expect. And it's just
Absolutely.
smart having that buoy there.
It
And
is.
even if you don't even think about it or use it, just knowing
Yes.
it's there in your first race or two, or first, open water swim. I'm glad you mentioned that, because people need to realize there's no shame in that. It's like,
Yeah,
you've got to
no.
have, that's safety.
Yeah, also, I think that the one thing I learned is when there were waves, you needed to swim with your arms deeper instead of, surface swimming like in a pool, or you needed to point them down so that, I don't know, there was something, you guys can probably, you have more experience on that.
John can, you're talking his language now.
Yeah.
He's the expert swimmer here.
Well,
Yeah.
what I'm really like hearing is you're recognizing swimming in open water is different than swimming in a pool.
Yes.
And that's so important. So how much open water swimming did you do before your first race, and how much do you do now?
I think I went out there, Melanie, I think was, Melanie, I believe
Yep.
it is, Coach
Yep.
Melanie,
Coach
was
Melody.
having some clinics, and I attended one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's
that's
my
valuable. It's
experience.
Melody Cronenberg. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is just, that's wonderful that she does that, and it helps a lot of people. So I'm
Mhm.
glad you were able to attend that.
Yeah, and I think the first try I did, it was very, very wavy. So I was really glad that I had that knowledge, because it did catch me off guard a little.
Well, the other thing I'm hearing from you, which is really neat, is you are seeking out some really good people to get advice and some
Absolutely.
pointers. And you've talked with a lot. In this conversation, you've mentioned a number of people, and I'm like, oh, that's a good person to talk to. Oh, that's a good person to talk to.
Yeah.
So that's really great. I mean, that's a neat mindset that you have, to just go out and get that information.
Yeah,
And you
there's some
realize you're not
great
doing it.
people on the Tri Club, and no matter how much experience, they can guide you and make it fun for you. If seek their experience because you want to do it again, you want it to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So, what type of distance are you working towards? What goals do you have?
Yeah, what's next?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to do Olympic. I think the coach thinks I should do Olympic, because I had said what I did during COVID to keep me motivated, besides watching a lot, I follow some people on Facebook or on Strava. But what I did was I joined the Ironman Virtual Club and started doing some of those things. And so that's kept me motivated and fun. And then I told the coach, I want to do an Ironman. He said, you need to do, you can't just do an Ironman. You have to
build up a little bit.
You have to build up. So, I'm still deciding on that. Right now, I am really having fun on the Olympic or not.
Yep.
And I haven't one way or another decided fully.
That's good. Well, and that's
I know
okay.
that's a big hill to climb.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's really, and you sort of put out there the health issues that you deal with, and that's important. And I think that to be able to do what you're doing is success. Just that you're getting to that start line, and that's important. And so that's neat to hear. And there's no not knowing exactly where you're going to go next. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling your daughter's going to put some heat on you.
Yeah, the two of you together is going to make like a critical mass. I mean, you're just.
He can make a critical mass alone.
Yeah, she's got the energy, that's for sure.
She is. She's awesome, and I love her dearly. Yeah. Oh, and we're doing some more Sherpa. Is it called Sherpa?
Yeah,
Sherpa
yeah.
Ing, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll be following her Sherpering.
Well, and you've done great with volunteering and sure and that is a great way to get experience. So I don't know, maybe talk about that where you've watched, watched your daughter race obviously and volunteered at races. What do you watch for there that you then try to pick up and pull into what you do?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, one of the things I watched her do, and you guys mentioned it before, was she had taped herself swimming
Mhm.
to improve her strokes. And that was something new for me also is like I mentioned, when I swam in the pools and for swim clubs, your arms weren't up and your elbows up, but you need them up because if there's waves or anything like that. And so I saw her do that, and that helped me learn that, oh, I need to adjust some of those things.
Hmm.
And so what else?
What about nutrition?
I watch her. I don't know how she runs without socks. That I don't get.
Yeah. Some people do that.
I
I
don't think I
don't.
can do that.
Have you had any issues with, fueling with nutrition? Have you learned that?
Oh, yes, I have. And with asthma, you're on steroids sometimes and you're not, so your weight goes up and down. And
Hmm.
so that's just a constant. I can be up 10 pounds and then all of a sudden I'm down.
Wow.
So, but nutrition is, yeah, it's definitely important. If you just have so much more energy if you're eating right.
Right.
You do.
Hmm.
You
Well,
gotta
and
eat right.
that tenacity of working through health issues certainly parallels what you do in your training. So that's neat.
Yeah.
Where's your
Yeah.
favorite place to go for a bike ride?
Uh, well, we had fun in Death Valley. That was fun.
Oh,
I mean, it's
wow.
like nothing, but it was fun. It was somewhere I hadn't been before and always wanted to see.
Yeah.
And so we took the bikes out there and rode. Also, St. George was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Mhm.
Anywhere in Utah is gorgeous to ride. Around here, John, I have to say, there were so many candidates because when you did that picture treasure hunt, I just so enjoyed that. It was
That's
a lot of
right. You
fun.
got all of them.
Mhm.
We did. And, my husband and I, we hunted down a lot of those. And we actually, Candace's kids came along and helped me find some of them. And it was a nice breath of fresh air to learn some new riding spots too. And running. I did some running. I did a combination of run, ride,
Yeah.
just finding them. So a lot of
Well,
fun.
that's right. You were one of the first ones to get all of them, and I was like, how did they even find some of these? That was a fun scavenger hunt. That was neat.
Yeah, my husband's a roofer, so he knows the valley pretty good. Or
Ah,
he used to roof. He schedules now, but
yeah.
he knew a lot of the valley. So he's like, oh.
I know
And
what
I think
that
there
is.
was one I couldn't find, and it was that sign that said "keep out." And I was thinking that's got to be at the Spring Preserve, but I don't know where it is. I never found that one.
I never did
Yeah,
either. That one was not one. I had no idea where that one was. So.
yeah, yeah. But it was fun. It was fun to do. So in the
We might have
future,
to do
I
that
hope we do
again,
that
John. That
again.
was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is so fun, Kelly, to hear more about how you get started in triathlon, your background,
Yeah.
and now we know you're a basketball player at heart.
And
Yeah, I haven't
volleyball
played
and
in a while.
softball, she did a lot of other sports as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-rounded.
Well, the athlete in you, I mean,
Yes,
that's neat.
softball.
And I really like hearing about your mindset and racing and just that positive attitude is so, so important. So it's really infectious. And I'm really happy that you're doing the club stuff and you're very engaged and really, this is great to chat with you.
Yeah, the same here. You guys are great, and I enjoy getting the opportunity to have fun and do this. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna say goodnight, and we'll keep checking in with you at the next race. I'm sure we'll see you at the July event, and then we'll keep watching where you go with your triathlon career. So.
Oh, good, great. Thank you. Yeah, you will see me in July probably. I haven't looked at the schedule. I just saw somebody post about it and it's like, oh, there's something in July. So I'll look it
Yeah,
up.
we're unfolding them as we get the approvals. So.
Okay, cool. Well, happy Father's Day tomorrow to you guys. And
Thank you.
thanks so much.
Well,
Well, thanks
you.
for doing this, Kelly, and it was a pleasure talking with you, and look forward to seeing you again. Look forward to seeing your smile coming across the finish line.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good
All right.
night.
All right, good night.